Okay, let me talk to you about knock sensors on these 3.6 liter Subarus. So I don't know if it's the same for the 3 liter, but I do know on the 3.6 the knock sensors, this is a 2013. So at least the 4th gen 3.6 has the knock sensors in this location. So knock sensor goes bad, you take it to the shop and they're like, oh, we got to take the intake manifold off, we got to do all this, and the cost is pretty high. You do not have to remove the intake manifold. You do not have to remove the alternator, and you do not have to remove the AC compressor. No serpentine belts. You can do this job, I promise, if you're handy at all and you have at least a 3/8 ratchet, a 12 millimeter socket, a 10 millimeter socket, and a swivel head. And it'd be awesome if you had a torque wrench, because those do require a specific torque. But let me just kind of walk you through what you can do to replace these without taking all this stuff off and out of the way. So for the passenger side, take this off. These are 10 millimeter. You can just put that to the side. Obviously put your bolts to the side, or you can screw them back in if you want to do it that way. As you look down in there, it's kind of hard from this angle. You can see that harness down there under that pipe. There's a 12 millimeter bolt. It's hard to kind of show on the camera. There you go. But you can get to that no problem with a 12 millimeter, can't talk today, and a swivel head. And you can get it out. Your whole hand can get in there. I've got fairly large hands, probably hard to see. And I was able to get in there. You can set your knock sensor in there, start threading in your 12 millimeter. One thing to remember is pay attention when you go to unclip it, the direction that the knock sensor is and the approximate angle. They like to stay in the same spot. So put the new one back in there, start threading it in. Then you can come back in with your swivel head and your extension, tighten it, and you can even put a torque wrench on it and tighten those to the proper torque values. Now, then put your barometric sensor back, and this side's done. And of course, if you have a code, you could clear it and start the car and make sure it doesn't come back if you wanted to do that. In my case, both knock sensors needed to be replaced and the harnesses were not chewed through. So the other one is super fun. It's behind this AC compressor. And I'll try to get zoomed in there. There you go. You can kind of see the top of that 12 millimeter bolt right there. So you can absolutely get through here, I promise, with a extension, a swivel head, and you can get that bolt out. But you may be wondering, all right, so I can get it out, how do I get it back in? Well, at least on this 2013, I can tell you that you can actually reach your hand back under this intake manifold. And if you're tall enough, you may not need it. I got a ladder so I could get a little bit more distance. You can reach your hand all the way under there. You can actually unclip that existing one. You can pull out that knock sensor. You can put the new one back and place it over the hole. And I did find that, like, trying to start the nut, trying to hold it with 2 fingers and start it from back there was a little difficult. So what I did is I took my socket, put a little piece of paper in it like I always like to do, put the bolt on it, and I came back down through here and I had it lined up and I got it started. I kept the angle how it was supposed to be on the knock sensor, used my torque wrench, reclipped it in. Whole process was about an hour, and that was my first time ever doing knock sensors on this Subaru. But I just want you to know that you can do this without taking any of this stuff off. You do not have to dismantle the front of this motor to make that happen. And my codes are gone and things are all back to normal. And yes, for those of you who are asking, the hood cover, or excuse me, the engine cover, they love to break because these get so tight in there. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But still working on this Subaru. Everything's going pretty good. I got free SSM working, and I'll show that about the transmission and the turbine speed and all that in the next video. Thanks, guys.